Hey boys, welcome back to the second episode in the NRL 2018 discussions. We're going to be talking about the Canberra Raiders. So I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to place the Raiders, but we'll look through their losses first up. So there's a few: Kurt Baptiste, Lachlan Croker, Kato Otio. Very unfortunate, right there. That is very sad to hear about him. But Clay Priest, Zach Santo, Dave Taylor, who who signed with the Toronto Wolfpack, but I'm pretty sure he got sacked pretty much straight after that. So good work, Dave Taylor. Who else? I think it was Fui Moi Moi, and that was another big name, and they would have had like a really strong team. But yeah, they're the losses which aren't that major. Honestly, they haven't lost like too much, but a big issue was obviously Josh Hodgson. So they've lost Kurt Baptiste, their backup hooker, but now they've also lost Hodgson, probably close to the full season, obviously doing his ACL in the World Cup. So yeah, they're going to be struggling in the dummy half department, but they did sign two pretty good young dummy halves actually. So we'll look at their gains. Brad Abbey from the Bulldogs. And one thing I'll mention, there are other like players on the list of signings, but a lot of them are like reserve graders or, not noteworthy. So I'm not going to talk about them. But Adam Clydesdale, one of the dummy halves, who actually is he Clydesdale? Is he the one I'm thinking of? Is he a dummy half, Adam Clydesdale? Maybe not, because the next guy, Craig Garvey, I know he was definitely one. Clydesdale might be as well, actually. I can't think. I think he is. I'm not sure. But Craig Garvey, he was the guy I was thinking of from the Bulldogs, who I think is a really good young player. He didn't really get too many chances at the Bulldogs. And then Michael Leisha started to play well at the very end of the season. But Craig Garvey is definitely a choice to start there. Decent player. Charlie Garb from the Warriors, who I never really liked Charlie Garb, even in the Queensland Cup. I never liked him, but he signed with the Warriors. He was okay. Could be a handy pickup for the Raiders, but again, I don't know, the Raiders, I don't think they really need forwards. Then they have Michael Oldfield from the Panthers, formerly from the Seagulls. Oldfield, who he was okay. I remember at the Seagulls, I thought he was pretty decent, but I don't think he played a game for the Panthers, not that I can remember. And then Havili, also, this is the other guy that is obviously in contention for the dummy halves. They'll probably, I would imagine that they would go for both of them. Like, they'll either start Garvey or Havili, and the other guy will play on the bench. Because I don't know if either of those guys are really 80-minute dummy halves at NRL level. But Havili, honestly, I think he's a really good player. In the World Cup, I thought he was outstanding. And he played, again, he didn't get too many chances at the Dragons, but I think he's definitely a solid NRL player. So, yeah, I think they've done all right to cover Josh Hodgson, going to be out for a long time. And then they've also recruited Sam Williams. So, Williams originally was with the Raiders, obviously moved over to Wakefield, and actually, wait, this might be, hold on, I think that's 2019 actually. Okay, so I just had I was like very confused because it had like the dates, and I'm like, wait, have I been reading this whole wrong? But I think is how long they've signed for. So yeah, Sam Williams is back, and yeah, so the Raiders, they're an interesting one. I mean, I personally think they're going to struggle this year because they've honestly had like such a good team for like last couple of seasons, and they've been like a favorite to sort of win the comp, but they've been very underwhelming, and I sort of, well, not entirely underwhelming, but I think this year they're going to struggle. Obviously there was talk that Aiden Caesar was potentially going back to he was going to the Bulldogs, I think. Now, I think that might be just for next year, but I thought there was talks that he might get a release, but maybe not. I might be mistaken there, but there was a few issues last year. I mean, Austin and I think Leilua and a couple other guys were sort of, not seeing eye to eye. So I don't know. The Raiders are a funny one. I mean, they've got such a strong team on paper, but I think the loss of Hodgson is going to be a big loss. Obviously, like I said, Havili and Garvey, I think, can do a good job, but yeah, I don't know. I'm very undecided on the Raiders. I guess the other thing you could think about is, Leilua. I thought he was okay last year, but he definitely had one of his weakest seasons. So, if he fires this year, you got John Rapana outside him, Jared Croker also. He was injured for a fair bit last year. Probably didn't have one of his best years. And obviously the young guy coming through on the wing as well. So, yeah, what's his... I'm trying to think. Oh, I can't think of his name. What's his freaking name, dude? The winger. This is going to kill me because I know who it is. I know who it is. I'm just having a blank. I know you guys know, and I know, but yeah, he's a really good player, and he's just going to be bigger and better this year. So, I mean, they got such talent there, so I feel like they're going to make the top 8, but I don't know. I think they might struggle a bit. I guess that's the Raiders. I mean, they seem to go on hot runs, and then they'll have a few losses. So yeah, we'll see. I personally think they'll scrape into the top 8, and I think they're probably one of the teams that are probably less noteworthy in terms of their recruiting. So, yeah, that's pretty much the Raiders there. Again, put your thoughts in the comments section where you think they'll end up. What do you think if they think they recruited pretty well? Let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.